All right, we shall start with the peace chant. We shall do it. Join me if you can. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitam Astu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May the all-pervading spirit protect us. May the all-pervading spirit nourish us. May we work together with great energy. May our study be illuminating. May love and harmony dwell amongst us. Oh, peace, 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 peace. Oh. So we are studying Katha Upanishad, one ancient text. It starts with a story about a young boy called Nachiketa, who starts asking great questions, big questions. Although he was less than 10 years old, but he started asking fundamental questions like he sees his father is doing a fire ceremony or fire ritual where everything should be given up, everything should be offered, sacrificed, and also gifted. Part of the ritual was gifting um, whatever wealth you have to the wise people. So Nachiketa saw that his father is giving away all the cattle which are not of up to the mark, of not good standard, good quality. So the question came to his mind that uh, father is not doing the right thing uh, because one should give the best as a gift. Then the question is, I as a son, how can I cover it? Or how can I compensate for what father did? And before he had a healthy dignity or self-esteem that I am not bad, I am not, I am giftable, I have some work. So he wanted to compensate for it and asked his father that, well, to whom do you give me? And he kept on asking this question. So his father, out of annoyance, he said, I give you away to the king of death, the god of death, Yama. So the Upanishads blends some mythological characters, and some of the things appear to be happening in mythological realm. But like every scripture, these are symbolic. Symbolic need not be taken seriously. Similarly, this Upanishad story takes us that Nachiketa, the young boy, goes to death, at the door of death, who is, by the way, is a wise person. And he was away for 3 days. He had other works to do at some other place. Nachiketa waited for 3 days and 3 nights. When the god returned, by God here, in Indian context or Upanishadic context, gods means some powerful beings, powerful beings. So unlike Abrahamic tradition, God, the omnipotent, all-powerful, everywhere present, all-pervading God. This is Abrahamic concept of God. But from the Upanishadic times, we see the people of India assign this title, God, to any powerful people. And the word God, Deva, came from the word deep, means a light or illumined ones. Okay. So that means this light is either the power of wisdom or some extraordinary power through which these celestial beings to maintain different orders in the world. So Yama uh, is a god in that sense. He has some functions to do. And Nachiketa, he apologizes that I was away for 3 days and you did not eat anything. So Nachiketa was offered food and drink, but he said, I won't until I meet Yama. So Yama comes and says, okay, to compensate, again, Yama now has to compensate for being absent for 3 days. Yama says that to compensate for keeping you hungry and thirsty for 3 days, I offer you 3 boons. Ask whatever you like. So first boon Nachiketa asks is, when I go to my father, let my father recognize me as his son, and let there not be any enmity between us. So let my father be at peace. So Yama says, granted. When you go back, your dad and you will reconcile, happy. Second one was, you have to get asked that, how about this? I hear about rituals. There is a fire ritual which takes one to heavenly world. So Yama gives it, and then finally Yama gives one extra boon, right? What was the boon? Even before going for the third boon, he gave an extra boon. After explaining, so second boon was Nachiketa asked for, wanted to learn about this fire ceremony. And Yama taught him the fire ceremony. This is how it has to be done, and extremely complicated. We know details were not talked about, but we know that the fire rituals are extremely complicated and very, very complex, lot of materials, lot of things, resources are needed, human resources. It lasts for many days, and it has to be perfect in every respect to give the right result. But Nachiketa could learn everything, and Yama was happy that Nachiketa could learn everything so quickly. So he gave one extra boon. The boon was, from now on, you can, people will uh, call this fire ceremony to you as your name, in your name. So this fire will be known as Nachiketa fire. Okay. And what is your final boon? Ask. Then Nachiketa asked the final question, big question, that some people say that when we die, it is end of everything. Some say no, even after death, there is something in us that goes on living. Tell me, what is the truth? And Yama, then what Yama does? Yama sees that such a question coming from such a young boy is a fit to indulge, or is he fit to be engaged in such a discussion at all? So it is an entrance test, right? For example, MIT, Harvard, Ivy Leagues, each has their own entrance test to judge the criteria of the student, at least to have some idea about the IQ, whether are you able to will be able to cope up with the pressure of the academics, the pressure of the program. Will you be able to handle it? Similarly, Yama also says, give some exam, right? Test in a GK. Do you recall the tests? Anyone?
He offer a bunch of like sensory enjoyments and things like that, long life and this and you know, apsaras and whatnot.
Yeah. So he offered many things like, you want whatever you want, I will make you a king, and the pleasures which are even are rare in the world, I can give you all of these. But Nachiketa, don't ask me this question. Why ask this unnecessary question about what happens after death? Rather be happy with all of this. And Nachiketa to grab this opportunity. Nachiketa said that since you said that this is a very difficult question and very few people really know the answer, that's why I am doubling down. I'm doubling down on it. I don't want any of these things. I want the answer to the question, what happens after we die? That is fundamentally, are we only this, what is visible in us, what is graspable through our senses, this body, or we can even infer about the presence of mind, such a thing called theory of mind. I have a mind, so I also infer that you have a mind. And I can see you have a body. I have a body, I have a mind. And is this all? Is this all about? Is it the whole of the story? This is what I want to know. So Yama was extremely happy to have such a student. And through this narrative, the Upanishad also tells us that a person who wants to inquire about truth of this grand scale should also be ready to sacrifice big offers or big so-called opportunities. Okay, so those who want to pursue such truth should have such a mindset that they prioritizes this type of questions about life. Otherwise, it is just could be an intellectual curiosity. It won't lead you anywhere. So this was the entrance test for Nachiketa, and he passed it very well. And Yama was extremely happy. Then he praised Nachiketas, this particular virtue which was present here. What was the virtue? Do you remember? What Nachiketa could show?
Determination.
Yes, determination is one thing. And
Disinterest in material things.
yeah, Yama said it in a more paradigmic way. In Shreo and Peya. Okay, do you remember that? The feel good and the true good. Okay, Yama said there are actually two things in this world which are feel good and which are truly good. Okay, feel goods, we spend some time to understand what is the prayer. Prayer means which feels good for the time being, but not good on the long run. And we don't have to go into the details. We know there are many things we know which feels good for the right now, and in the long term they are not good. But there are some things which may be difficult in the right now, but for example, a good habit, difficult to create, but if we can create a good habit in the long run, it will be shreya, truly good. So Yama, the god, praised. He said that most of the people are caught up in pursuing prayer, that is, which is feels good. But wise ones, they, when there is a conflict between what feels good and what is really good, they go for what is really good. And I am so happy, Nachiketa, to see such a young boy like you who is so mature right now to discard all these enticement and looking for the right answer to your question, for which you are ready to give up all the great enticements. So congratulations for such a good student. And then again, he said that this is such a profound knowledge about our spiritual nature. This profound knowledge can be confusing sometimes if it is not heard from a right type of teacher. Ascharya means those who have really realized this truth. If you hear from them, and if the student is also such a sincere one and who is, determined one to find the truth, then if such a wonderful thing can happen, if they can come together, a illumined guide and a sincere student, then the student can grasp it well. And in that context, we discuss the value of a guide in the tradition of Upanishads. Okay. In many things of the world, we can learn it, we can do it ourselves. But when it comes to this particular spiritual tradition of Vedanta or Upanishad, the value has been always given to learn it from someone who understands the essence of it. So much of importance was given on the need of a good guide. Okay. Otherwise, the Upanishad says that there are contradictory statements about the truth, and there are several things have been told differently about the same thing. So it might confound you, it might confuse you, it may be overwhelming to you. And if you hear from someone who only has a superficial intellectual knowledge about this subject, then you may run into confusion. You may run into confusion, but one who has really understood it, if you hear from them, then there is no fear from it. Okay. No fear from it. And there is disclaimer that I am not an ideal teacher. I already told I am not illumined. I cannot give you knowledge. I am just leading this discussion. Okay. And I have spent about 25 years in engaging in this matter. So my special role here is kind of a translator of the Upanishad to you. My goal is to, if you get interested into the Upanishad, then a whole new world will open for all of us. It's such a rich world, profound world. So that is what I see my role as. I don't see myself as an ideal teacher. So, and since you also have shown interest days after days in such an obscure topic like Upanishads, in the evening and a Friday evening when you can easily watch Netflix or anything like that, HBO. But so it shows that although yes, I am not an ideal teacher, I am little bit, and at the same time, you are not a perfect ideal student like Nachiketa, but to some extent, a little Nachiketa in all of you, a little Yama in me. Okay, how does it sound like? A little bit of Yama in me and little bit of Nachiketa in you. Okay, all of you have got. Okay, I am also a Nachiketa by the way, because I am also a seeker. Okay, I am also a seeker and I am also seeking. With this background, now we go into a very profound mantra which says three things. It says, what happens when we come to know about our true nature, not intellectually, but as it is. As our true nature is, when we when we come face to face it, what happens? Why should we be motivated at all to such a path? So it says, the verse says what happens. Secondly, the verse also says why the Upanishadic God, the divine, the Upanishadic God is Atma. It is not somewhere there. It is in each of us. It is in as well as out. Okay. So this is the fundamental reality, the conscious reality that is everywhere, and it is also in me. And realizing my nature as not only this body, this mind, this functional, these roles I am playing, but ultimately I am beyond all of this. I transcend all of this. My true nature is non-conceptual, cannot be conceptualized. It is non-dual. It is not, it goes beyond I and you. It transcends all of it. So this is the Upanishadic God. And where is that God? In us. And that is why Upanishadic God is difficult. And this is the mantra says, why it is difficult to get our head around the idea of Upanishadic God. Why is it so difficult? Why is it so difficult? And finally, if it is difficult, then what is the way out? What is the way out? All these three. Why it is difficult to realize our true nature? Our true nature is in Sanskrit called Atma. Atma. Atma really means me. Atma means me. Okay. So the Upanishad says very clearly that my evolution in the spiritual path is totally dependent on what I think I am. Who you think you are, what I think I am. Okay. So as long as I continue to identify myself with my small little self, according to the Upanishadic paradigm, I am under bondage. I am only living a very fragmented life. I could live a much more free and expansive life, but I am choosing to restricting myself to some lesser fleeting identities, fleeting desires, and fleeting smaller goals. Okay, smaller goals. So to realize my true nature as non-dual, as transcendental, as a source of peace and real security, real joy, one has to have some plans. So all of these are being told. We started this verse in our last class, but let's go through the verse and the simple meaning quickly, and then we launch into the discussions. Okay, and hold your questions. I feel free to ask questions, raise your hand. I love being interrupted and getting engaged into conversations. Okay, so let's go to the verse itself, verse 2.12. That is second chapter, mantra number 12. Okay. Tam durdarśam gūḍham anupraviṣṭam guhāhitaṃ gahvareṣṭhaṃ purāṇam adhyātma-yoga-adhigamena devaṃ matvā dhīraḥ harṣa-śokau jahāti. That self, hard to perceive and deeply hidden in the heart, ancient and abiding in the innermost cave of being, the wise, realizing that behind reality through the yoga of inner contemplation transcends both joy and sorrow. So we started the discussion last day with the idea that what does it mean that the wise one are going beyond joy and sorrow. Okay, that we shall come, that point we shall cover today also towards the end of this verse. So as I said, this verse has three important points to say. One is, what is the nature of our true name? What is the nature of the Atma, self, our true nature? What it is like? What is it like? In the passing, let me mention that uh, if we have difficulty in really understanding what is this Atma, which is in me, also everywhere, outside everywhere, how can it be? So a proximate analogy comes to my mind. It is almost like uh, operating an AI device, like, suppose your phone you are using a ChatGPT, and I am using ChatGPT in my phone. All of these are individually having an AI, artificial intelligence, right? But this artificial intelligence, each device is actually connected to the entire AI that is available to ChatGPT. It is not that the AI that is running ChatGPT is different from different what it is for you and what it is for me. The same artificial intelligence, which is collectively present at the same time, it is present in my device. So when I am talking about the AI present in my device, in my ChatGPT, imagine I am calling it Atma. But when I am talking about the AI as such, the entire AI, which is everywhere, for the timing, let's say it's everywhere, okay, everywhere, then we are calling it Brahma. Brahma means the vast, the infinite. Atma means in you, and Brahma means the vast. And what is the equation of the Upanishad? What is the essence of the Upanishad? You are that vast. Tat Tvam Asi. You. That is the true you is Tvam. That is the vast. And vast, to be vast, to feel profound or vast, one does not really have to be infinite in size. This vastness can be felt even in a small thing, right? To give an example, they have done a lot of experiments. What invokes or provokes awe in us? What inspires awe in us? They found that among large things, vast things do so as well as the small things. Like if you go to YouTube and search, crystal. Um, in Japan, there is one scientist. He's fascinated with that. How small, drops of liquids color the spectrum they analyze in molecular level, and that will inspire awe, a sense of vastness, right? So to feel vast, we don't have to be physically vast. Something in us may be so profound, so timeless, that we feel a sense of vastness. We are not limited, constricted. That is the Vedantic God, Upanishadic God, Brahma in the collective sense, and Atma in the individual sense. Okay. So what is this Atma like? The Upanishad says that it is hard to perceive. One of the features at all, if we call features, is hard to perceive. Durdarśam, dukkhena darshanam, Shankara. So hard to perceive. Why? Why Atma is hard to perceive? What do you think?
I'll quote an example that Alan Watts gave. It's difficult for the eyeball to see itself.
Yeah,
An eyeball cannot see itself.
right. That is one thing.
You need a mirror.
You need a mirror, right? That is one thing that we cannot see what is in. Yes. So the way we,
It's
yes,
it's not an object.
it's not an object. So we cannot know it through our senses.
It is
It is
subtlest
not-
of the subtle.
It
It is subtlest of the subtle.
Yes, yes. Subtler than the subtlest. So, one hard things, we know things usually by two ways. One is direct perception or inference. Inference is, um, I have not seen directly the thing, but I am seeing something which indicates that it is present. The classical example is there is fire in the mountain. I don't see the fire, but I see the smoke. Okay. So from the smoke, I infer that there is fire in the mountain. Actually, you won't believe, I studied Indian Nyaya, and for whole 1 year, every day, 45 minutes, our class used to be the fire is on hill. The hill is on fire. Sorry, the hill is on fire. And I never saw that apart from only in class discussing. Here, after coming in California, first time wildfire, I could say that the mountain is the mountain is on fire because I see smoke. Okay, I see smoke. The Sanskrit is important, although don't mind my digression. It is important. They say, Parvata Banniman Dhumat. Parvata Banniman Dhumat. The Parvata means mountain. Banniman means fire. Fire is in the mountain. Why? Dhumat. Dhumat means Panchami. Those who know Sanskrit, fifth case ending. If a word ends in fifth case, it means it is a reason. Because there is smoke. Parvata Banniman Dhumat. Yatra yatra banni tatra tatra dhumaha yatha mahanasau. So wherever there is fire, there is smoke. For example, in the kitchen. So these three lines we have to tell every day. And from then on, our class will start. So this inference does not work for Atma. Okay. Why it does not work? Because inference is also dependent on pratyaksha, direct perception. If I don't see a smoke, how can I even infer about the fire? So here there is nothing I can infer about which proves the presence of Atma. Okay. Oh, I am inferring the presence of Atma because I am alive, because I am this. So these, you cannot really do that. Okay. Because where is the other example? Give me one example where you can show that these two things go together.
Swami, I feel like when a person has a profound intuitive moment,
yes,
it is possible if they feel the power that comes with that moment from the divine, they might be able to infer that there is something bigger than me.
Yes.
That is at work in the universe.
Absolutely. Yes, intuition will work. Actually, it will come very soon, though mention of the word, the idea of intuition, but inference usually don't work here. Okay. The other thing is, then the final thing remains is belief in a book. So London, you have not gone, suppose, you have not seen in TV or anywhere, but you can read on book, okay, on book and get some idea about. So similarly, about Atma too, the inference of the direct perception does not work. Okay. And inference does not work. Inference can only work under this visible universe or in the level of concepts. But Atma is beyond all concepts. Beyond all concepts. Atma is non-conceptual. Okay. And that is the hard problem of Atma, that it is the subject as well as it is beyond any concepts. Everything we know either through our direct perception or forming concepts about it. Okay. For example, we cannot see democracy. What can you show me what is the thing called democracy? There is no thing called democracy. Democracy is a concept, right? And we conceptualize about democracy. Show me what is truth. What is truth? Can you show me? It's a concept. It's a concept, and through that we understand all. So Atma, we cannot conceptualize Atma in any way. Atma is, the Upanishad says it is transcendental. And it is non-conceptual. It is the eternal subject. Everything else is known because of its presence. So if it is not an object at all, at any time, then how can we know it the way we know other things? Its presence can only be intuited. First, it has to be heard, because it is not seen, it is not inferred. So we have to hear about it from a book. From that comes, and this knowing from the book is called squeeze.
Shravana.
Shravana, right? And having the knowledge is called aparaksha. Paraksha jnana. Okay. Paraksha jnana. Paraksha means indirect knowledge about it. The book is telling, the teacher is telling, so I am having an indirect knowledge about such a spiritual reality. Then this indirect knowledge has to be converted into a direct experience, direct perception, and that is called aparaksha anubhuti. Okay, a direct perception of the reality. And this verse will say how to do aparaksha anubhuti. Anyway, the point was why it is durdarśam, why Atma is difficult to perceive, because it is so subtle, it is not anything material, so it cannot be seen, so difficult to see, difficult to be heard, difficult to be touched. No, difficult to touch. This is reality. This is Atma as Upanishad places before us, that it is not visible or graspable. All right. Then what is the next thing? Gūḍham and anupraviṣṭam. Gūḍham means it's deeply buried inside, and anupraviṣṭam means hidden in the depth of experience. So Shankaracharya gives one insight. He says, hidden by the processes of ordinary perceptions. So different mental processes are like turbulence that hide the pure awareness. So that's why it becomes very difficult to sense it. It is deep within us. At the same time, it is clouded by many things. Clouded by what? Our thoughts, our fears, our anxieties, our angst. All of these are, as it were, have clouded. So inside, we can turn inward, but when we turn inward, what we find? We find only our thoughts or images, sometimes even amplified than our normal state. So these are mixed up. What is vritti, what is a thought, and what is the light behind the thought? For us, all of sin appears to be all bundled up, all together. So it becomes difficult anupraviṣṭam. It is in and through. If you remember Katha Upanishad says that this Atma is beyond the known and unknown. Remember? The very profound statement. Atma is, the self is beyond, other than known, other than unknown. So it meant that it is subject. Only when it is subject, it is beyond the known and beyond the unknown. Subject, who can know the subject? Subject is the knower, ultimate knower and eternal subject. Then the Katha Upanishad say, but pratibodha viritam matam. It is present in every act of cognition, every thinking, every volition. It is present. It is present, and if we want to get a hold of it, every moment is the time. In every cognition won't happen if this Atma is not present. Because of the presence of Atma, this divine light, we are actually aware of things. Okay. So, but it becomes difficult because it is so near, it is so available in us, at the same time, it is so mixed up. It is so mixed up. That makes it difficult. They say that, very difficult to catch an enemy or a criminal if they can, get mixed up with the common population. So it is there. Everybody know. Probably the police also know. This criminal we are chasing for, he is here or she is here. But mixed up in so much among the people, it's very difficult now to find out. But they are here. Similarly, Atma, Upanishad says, it is the nearest of the nearest thing. But at the same time, it is mixed up. And we have mixed it up. And this mixing up is the original sin, according to Vedanta. That we are unable to recognize it, which is so easily present, is the problem. And this problem is called avidya. Avidya means absence of knowledge. And here, absence of knowledge means not recognizing our true nature, which is there, right there. Okay. So, gūḍham anupraviṣṭam. Then, guhāhitaṃ, it is hidden in the cave. So, what does it mean, hidden in the cave? Shankaracharya's insight was needed. What does it mean? It is hidden in the cave. What is the cave? So Shankaracharya says it is hidden in the cave of heart. Cave of heart means seat of our intelligence. Whatever is the intelligent principle in us, not the not the IQ thing, not the IQ. Okay, intelligence means here the capacity to understand, capacity to recognize, capacity to reach a decision. This intelligent principle that is present in us. So buddhi, in Sanskrit it is called buddhi, the intelligence. That is the cave. That is where this Atma is hidden. This is something very important statement, that when we realize Atma, where do I realize it? Where do I realize it? In buddhi. In buddhi. And this is the thing, buddhi realizes something which is beyond buddhi. That's why buddhi is unable to speak about it, right? Because the problem is where? Problem of not knowing our true nature is where? In intelligence, in buddhi. I am not knowing it. So the solution should be also there, right? Solution also is in the purifying the intelligence. And intelligence, if pure enough, pure means which is not cluttered, not entangled with petty things, such an intelligence can intuit the presence of Atma. Intuit the presence of Atma. We cannot say no because knowing presupposes an object and a subject. But in Atma, this is the only case where subject is knowing the subject. This is unlike anywhere else. Unlike anywhere else. So it is hidden in the heart, cave of the heart. That means it is hidden in our own intelligence and our intuition, which is a purified intelligence, intuition, that helps us to recognize it. Okay. Then why this difficult present, and then finally gahvareṣṭhaṃ, present within the body. It is present within the body, but inaccessible. Shankaracharya says, Bishame anekartha samkate tishtati, located in a difficult region and hard to reach. It is hard to reach. Why it is hard to reach? Because why it is hard to reach? Because very difficult to get rid of our lower identities. Okay. It is nothing but identities. We are ego. Ego, what we are thinking ourselves to be. So with so many years of practice and habits, we have always identified with something which is fleeting, which is other than ourselves. Which is other than ourselves. So that's why it is very difficult to get a hold of. Whenever we start thinking who I am, the things that come into our mind is mostly the fleeting things. The incidental things about us come to our mind as who I am. But in that case, we are knowing us through some concepts, through some self-images, which are only a partial reality about ourselves. Seeing ourselves as it is, as we are, is a bit difficult. gahvareṣṭhaṃ, inaccessible. Why? Because of our long association with what we are not. Upanishad is telling that what the journey is, illumination, if you take it as a journey, is not keep on adding things. Okay. It is actually subtracting things. I told it last time also. It is about subtracting things, unnecessary things from our life. Okay. Cluttering the clutters. So, but it is present now. It is so much of present that it becomes difficult for us to really understand our true nature. Okay. And finally, it is purāṇam, ancient. Purāṇam means there is no beginning of. That there was a moment when our nature, our true nature, which is the open awareness, the pure awareness, the unbound awareness, there was not a time that it was created. That's why it is ancient, purāṇam. Shankaracharya says, Pura api nava eva iti. It is most ancient, yet it is the most modern thing. In other words, it is timeless. It is timeless. It existed before all visible creation, and it will remain as it is. It is not a created product, a matter. Everything else that we see came into existence and stay, and maybe after thousands years, hundreds years, it will destroy anyway. But this thing is uncreated. It is a reality in itself. And you will be surprised that indeed a good deal of even the consciousness researchers are also thinking that consciousness is a altogether different category of existence. Many people think consciousness is a product of brain, emergent property, epiphenomenon. So brain is the thing which is running our body, and consciousness just came out of our brain. There's no such thing as such called consciousness. Consciousness is a transactional thing through which brain operates. That is the position of materialist. But many neuroscientists, even recently, one very materialist or purely empiricist scientist, he changed his position about, I'm not telling the name, he's too famous. And he said, now I am open to even talk about the possibility that consciousness can be a separate phenomenon altogether, category altogether. That is what Upanishad is telling. Okay, timeless. It is not okay. Okay, any question about Atma, this self? Why it is so difficult? It is difficult, right, to realize. There is no doubt about it. Otherwise, we would have realized so far. And Upanishad is giving us some reason why.
I'll put the hand up.
Yeah, go ahead. You want to ask?
Yes, Swami.
Yes.
This has come up several months ago. I have a couple of things. We've talked about how in Prabhuvananda's translation, he tends to use the metaphor or refers to lotus of the heart rather than cave of the heart. I'm just curious what significance you see in that. Is it just more metaphorical?
Yeah, absolutely. Lotus of
Same.
same. Lotus of the heart in Indian spiritual tradition. Lotus of the heart means not the physical heart, but your most precious part of your mind. The
Okay.
most precious part of your mind is our intelligence, which gives us the starlight, the light of navigation. Day-to-day navigation is one thing, but what shows us the overall course of our life? Where should I go? If in a trouble, what should I decide? How we decide all of these things, that part of our mind which influences all of this, you may call lotus of the heart, the same
Okay.
as cave of heart.
So, you and I have also discussed this. There is a mantra from another Upanishad which says, after a number of prefatory remarks, says, enter the lotus of the heart and there meditate on the presence of Brahman,
Yeah.
the pure, the blissful. So this mantra that we are studying says, the wise man following the path of meditation knows him and is freed. So, and also just a couple of minutes ago, you said the act, I think, of discovering the Atman is the act of discovering or is perception or awareness itself. So if you are meditating on the presence of Brahman, have you already discovered awareness? Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. That is a very important thing and a very subtle point. The Upanishad says we should not be having any trouble meditating on Atman because it is our true nature. It is there. It is just there. Okay. Almost like there is already water flowing under your house. There is already a source of water, a well, natural well under your house. What we have to do is to dig. The presence of the well is guaranteed. So when we are meditating in Upanishad, we are not imagining on something, although it feels like imagination, but according to the metaphysics and the position of the Upanishad, the foundation of Upanishad is on this principle that what we are meditating upon is a reality, a truth, which is none other than what our real nature is. Okay. So entering into meditating on that reality is not, is what actually we need to do. Why we should be meditating now? It should be available every time, but now it is not available because it is clouded, just like the lake. The example is given, imagine Lake Tahoe has become so polluted, we don't see anymore what is on the bottom. Now we see and go to Lake Tahoe and we see how transparent we can see to the bottom. But suppose it has become so much, murky, and also a lot of ripples we cannot see. So meditation is to what? Stop the ripples and clean the murkiness of the water. If we can do that, what is there is there. That's the Upanishad says, praptasya prapti. Knowing our true nature is getting what we already had. We did not create anything. Okay. It is almost like you had $1 billion. Someone given you, your dad wrote an estate for you, but you did not know about the will. Suddenly you get the will, and this $1 billion was always yours. It is not you created $1 billion, but Upanishad says it was praptasya prapta. $1 billion was there. You did not know that you had it. And but during the time that you did not know, to whom this $1 billion belonged to? You. You. Although you did not know, although I did not know, it belonged to me. Okay. So the Upanishad says that to understand that reality, we have to now make an effort to separate it from the other mental thought waves, other thoughts. And if we can stand with, in the presence of that reality, the reality will reveal, that is bound to reveal. Okay. Actually, that is what the next important point of this mantra is, adhyātma-yoga-adhigamena devaṃ. So a wise man, a dhīraḥ, what do they do? Adhyātma-yoga-adhigamena. Through the yoga of adhyātma. What does it mean? Adhyātma-yoga, adhyātma and yoga. So the Upanishad says our true nature is difficult to perceive, understand because of these things, what it says right now. But a wise one realizes it. How? Adhyātma-yoga. Adhyātma means related to Atma. Yoga means union. In this particular context, yoga means abiding. Just abide in the presence. Abide in the presence of your hand reality. That's Vedantic meditation. No image, no mantra is needed, nothing to be visualized. Just be in the presence. And this is actually, frankly speaking, very difficult for Westerners to do. Because Westerners are from the very childhood are meant to doing something, just being is actually not built into Western culture. Okay. In Eastern culture, you don't have to be always something. You don't have to do always for a purpose or for accomplishing. You can just be with people, just be yourself. But in Western culture, which is good in a way that Western culture encourages you to develop a strong sense of self, an accomplished one, a healthy sense of who you are. But the downside of this is always grasping to be something, to become something, to do something, and just be is a little bit difficult for Westerners. Of course, for us also, it's not that meditation comes easier for us and it will be difficult for you. No, not at all. But only thing is this abiding in presence, not doing anything, not seeking anything, not trying to change anything, not trying to change myself, just be in the presence of my higher nature. This is called adhyātma-yoga. Adhyātma-yoga. Adhyātma-yoga is adhyātma, okay? Adhyātma means relating to atma. Yoga means abide. Abide in your true nature. Okay? So this sounds very nice. It is not also easy, okay? Because when we try to abide in our true nature, very soon our other thoughts come. But what happens, let me tell you, that the more we try to abide in ourselves, what we find is in between two thoughts, there is a gap. In between two thoughts, there is a gap. Right now, I am thinking about the book. Next time, I am thinking about the mobile phone. Next moment, oh, I have to heat up the food. But between all these discrete thoughts, there is a gap. For a racing mind, this gap is so tiny that these thoughts appear to be rising continuously. But when we try to slow down and try to do adhyātma-yoga, that is, we try to just be in the presence of our higher nature, that reality. Whatever that reality is our conception about, don't worry about, because ultimately it is beyond any conception. Okay? So that reality, if we hold on to, we'll find gradually we are seeing there is larger gap between the two thoughts. And these are like the ground. Okay, these are the quiet moments when we can feel something deeper about ourselves. Okay, these are the gap moments, are the moments, the silence of Mandukya. Remember Omkara? The Om is all states of mind, and the silence in between the two thoughts. That is where the secret is. The silence, the gap between the two thoughts. In fact, this is the whole of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. This is the key to understand. What Patanjali is trying to do is trying to increase the gap between the two thoughts. Okay. At the very beginning, the first, I'm digressing, but the point is very interesting. Here Vedanta and yoga very much converges. So Patanjali, when he says first sutra, Hatha yoga anupraviṣṭam, yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Okay, yoga means stopping the thought waves. Then Vyasa in his commentary says that it is common to all. It happens to all. This nirodha. Nirodha means the gap between the two thoughts. It is a common property of mind to have a gap between the two thoughts. But for most of us, this gap is so quick that we don't understand what it means to have a quiet and calm mind. Meditation is what makes these calm moments longer and longer. And these calm moments are the moments where we can sense something about that reality, a diffuse sense. It's not a very sharp understanding at the beginning, but a diffused understanding, a diffused awareness we really feel a diffuse awareness. And if we can continue to that, once in a while, we'll see that that light breaks through those gaps, the inner light shines through. Of course, it's a metaphor I'm speaking about, inner light, but something shines through those gap moments. That and trying to be with that reality as it is called adhyātma-yoga. Adhyātma-yoga. Adhyātma-yoga-adhigamena devaṃ. So with adhyātma-yoga, what will happen? We come to know about our shining nature. Devaṃ, Devaṃ means shining nature. Vidyate, a shining nature. How? If we just stay with us. Just stay as we are. It's a habit. It's a habit. We first try to do it in a meditation as a simulation. When we do simulation instead of doing the actual thing. So meditation is when I am not interacting with the world, relatively I am, withdrawn, then I am trying to be with me. But remember, the ultimate goal is to, whether I am open, whether I am driving, whether I am talking, this awareness, the presence will be always there. What is the presence like? I am vast. I am not constricted. I am not restricted. I have a vast land to walk around, and I am not restricted. This spaciousness, this feeling comes from adhyātma-yoga. If we try to practice to be with us, gradually it happens. It is a gradual affair. And if that happens, what happens? Harṣa-śokau jahāti. The person, the wise one, goes beyond joy and sorrow. And do you recall the real meaning of going beyond joy and sorrow? Because going beyond joy and sorrow does not appear to be very covetable state. Someone cannot, yes, there is no sorrow, but at the same time, there is no joy also, right? So going beyond joy and sorrow, is it such a covetable thing? Upanishad is saying that such a difficult thing to realize our true nature, but you can to practice, and if you can do that, you will go beyond happiness and sorrow. So do you recall last week? Who will try to summarize last class's discussion? What does it mean to go beyond joy and sorrow?
Not being controlled by your likes and dislikes. They lose their strength.
Yes, absolutely. So it does not mean becoming dull to what is joy and sorrow. Rather, we wake up to life. Life become much more enjoyable. What it means is the way we understand as a joy, as a source of sorrow. Joy is sources of joy is to crave for, to work for, and sources of pain, uncomfort, discomfort, shun, to resist, to turn away from. This actually is a bondage. It's a bondage. And this controls our life. And as I said it in the last class, that it might sound gross, but this is what animals also do. If you, yeah, they are always look for sources of pleasure and avoid sources of pain. And human beings, we can transcend even this tendency to seek what is pleasant all the time and being controlled by that. And a lot of energy also is spent in actually resisting or turning away from things we feel little discomfortable, little uncomfortable, because we got so used to comfort, little discomfort, little pain, we try to run away from. The pain itself is not that big, but the tendency to look away from it, resist it, is probably sometimes more painful than the pain itself. So we become much more free. harṣa-śokau jahāti. These pleasures and pains do not control our life anymore. We feel pleasure, we feel pain, but they no longer controls our life the way they now control our life, right? So this is the promise of adhyātma-yoga, the yoga of abiding in our true nature. But at the same time, abiding in our true nature is the main practice, but it has to be supported by other practices, right? Like all the moral virtues we hear about, all of them help us in what? Help us in making the lake clear, the murky water clear. So when we practice the moral virtues, the murkiness of the lake is going out. And when we are trying meditation, the waves are getting settled. So murkiness and turbulence, these are the two things which are hiding the reality from us. Okay. So all moral virtues will contribute to making this surface of the lake cleaner and less turbulent, so that what is already in here, we don't have to acquire. This is the Upanishadic foundation, or you may say, one great message of hope, that God or the divine is not something we have to go to, or we have to someday we'll meet. We can meet right now. It is here. The higher nature, the divine, is already there. What we are doing is just making the room for it to shine. Okay. So actually removing unnecessary things that hides our true nature from shining its full light. That is the promise. Okay. I'm sorry, I thought I will be able to cover at least one more verse, but this verse took a lot of time because there are a lot of important points also, concepts also. These are probably not unknown to you, but it is good to once in a while to go through them again and again, so that we get a clear understanding of what the Upanishad is trying to say to us, right? Go ahead, ask any question. So yes, if you remember what I said in the beginning of the class, I'll be away for quite some time. So our next class will be on 21st of November, Friday, 21st of November. So you have some time, almost a month or so, 3 weeks actually. Then try to write down the points or concepts you liked about the Upanishad in any way. Any verse, any mantra has touched your heart, right? Feel free to share with others. Okay. So you don't have to, kind of write a synopsis of the Katha Upanishad, or the story of the Katha Upanishad, the narrative of the Katha Upanishad. Take up one thing authentically. You feel that really this verse spoke to me. I learned so much from this verse. Share why this verse you liked and how you liked it. And if you did not like it, why you did not like it. Feel free to share any idea from Katha Upanishad worth sharing. And see, every time we have done it is actually so fulfilling, right? This when we share with others, we have learned from each other so much, their perspective. Yes, go ahead if you have any question.
Maharaj,
Yes, Subhash.
the fact that we are alive, in Bhagavad Gita, one shloka says, Jivanam sarvabhuteshu. Life itself is God. This is Swami Tathagata's
Yeah,
main.
yeah.
So
Absolutely.
can you not infer that because we are alive? Yes, that's Atma.
No, you cannot, because Atman is even in this table, which to us is not alive. If we say whatever is alive, there is God, in that case we are excluding material things, so-called material things. God is not present there. So it's a problem for Upanishad. Okay. I see one new participant, Logan. Do you pronounce Logan? Hey, welcome, Logan.
Yes, it's pronounced Logan. Hi.
Hi. Yes. Any other question?
I have a comment.
Yes, go ahead. Yeah, feel free to comment. Yeah.
We really appreciate your presentation tonight. You know, I was only 19 when I first saw the Upanishads, and I just couldn't really get a grasp. And finally, with our classes, I'm finally getting something out of them after 50 years. I have to humbly admit. So I really want to thank you, Swami. It was very nicely done tonight.
Thank you. In fact, most of my classes go well when I don't plan, That's what I have seen. That if, when I plan too much about the class, then it does not flow well. Today, I had a different plan, but I did not follow that plan. I went with the mood. So probably it felt more spontaneous. All right. If no question, good. Think about any other parts of the Upanishad and see you on 21st of November. And those new ones, I send email every week to participants about the upcoming class, and also I share the translation of the verses we are going to study. So if you would like to be included in that email group, let me know your email ID. I will be happy to include it. It is about the upcoming class, or sometimes after we have discussed something, if I feel like it should be given in written format, I share that too in the emails.
Well, what would be the best way to give you our email address?
Okay, drop it in the chat box.
Can.
Yes. All right. So we